Shabbat Shalom, Yasha'Allah, Shabbat Shalom. It's another Sabbath night, late night for me. Still in the Sabbath from July 17th to July 18th, Shabbat. Yeah, and this is, I think, first time in a long time I did a late night lesson. It should be brief. Yeah, it was an odd Sabbath for me. But anyway, it is an odd Sabbath for me. Not was. It is an odd Sabbath for me because we're still in the Sabbath. So, as far as teaching a lesson, but anyway, I haven't done one of these in a minute. So, let's get to it. I'm really not straight on the topic, but for now, I'm going to call it layoffs and corporate greed. And we are going to get in some history as far as kingdoms too. So just be patient with me. Where I'm going to start? Well, let's start with the layoffs. Because it's continuous. And that's what these corporate greedy people are doing, and led by the oligarchs, of course. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's just kick it off with Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah. We might come back to that, but for now, let's start with Isaiah 19th chapter. Right? Isaiah 19th chapter and the 15th verse reads, "Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do." Right? And that's where we at, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening now. Right? That's what's happening now. Right? People being laid off. Right? People are being laid off continuously. And it seems like it's not going to stop or slow down. Why? Because of technology. And a catalyst for the rich and wealthy, particularly the wealthy, is because of a technology called AI. Right? That's what's happening. That's what people are still experiencing. And one particular corporation, this was announced July 15th of 2026, of the corporation of Microsoft, but a particular division, the gaming division, AK also known as Xbox. They laid off what? 4,800 people, right? And let's get the number right. 9,000 people took the buyout. So it's still getting rid of people, even though 9,000 took the buyout, and then you got 4,000 who didn't take the buyout. Guess what? They got laid off. 4,800 got laid off, basically fired. Well, they're not going to come out and say that, but that's the words they use, the terms that corporations use. So in particular, Microsoft, and they laid off 4,800 people in the gaming division called Xbox. Everybody know what Xbox is, all you game players. So yeah, they laid off 4,800 people. And yes, I'm going to say it. If they don't say it, you can thank AI for that. It is what it is. So they don't need people to create games no more. They got AI. How about that? Amazing. That's one example. right? And that was announced once again on July 15, 2026. Right? And another thing I'm going to get into, might as well say it now and get it out the way. I'm going to explain too. People talk about their credit card debt. Well, I want to explain, and credit card fraud, I'd even call it, because I say that because they got something called additional fees. And it's crippling the average consumer that uses credit cards, which are basically what we would call average people and poor people. Yeah, because they're going to make you poor if you're not. Additional fees they don't explain. Well, one company called it maintenance fee, which I think is absurd. This is on top of the high interest they're charging on these credit cards, which they call, which is start. I think the highest they would used to charge was 29%, but some cards you can find go all the way upwards to 36%. Between that range, and that's what they pushed it up to, the interest rate. And it's really hurting. I had to even file a complaint on my own, so I can imagine what people with families and regular job or service jobs. I know that'll take a toll on you, especially if you're making minimum payments and you're trying to make extra payments. Man, I just feel for not only myself, but people with families and large families. You don't need a large family for this to hurt you, I'm telling you. The additional fees, they don't even explain. They just tag it up there, additional fees. That's insane. On top of the high interest. So that's why I call it corporate greed, man. At the end of the day, that's all it is. You can't give it no other name. Right? So with that being said, let's go to Proverbs 22, right? Proverbs 22. Let's go to Proverbs. Give me a second. I'll find this. Proverbs 22, verse 22. It says, "Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For Yahweh will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoil them." Now, spoil means rob and destroy. Those are two meanings to that word. So I'm going to read that again. Rob not the poor, because he is poor. Neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For Yahweh will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoil them. And that's just where we at, man. I know that's where I'm at, because they damn sure robbing me. And it's ruining everything. Right? And for all those who think this is a game, a joke or something, I'm going to read also Proverbs 17 and 5. Right? It reads, and is this right? Salaki, I got to the, sorry, wrong, I was in the wrong book for a second. Proverbs 17, pages or so, but anyway, Proverbs 17, am I from Proverbs? Salaki. What's going on there? Proverbs 17, verse 5 reads, "Whoso mocketh the poor, reproacheth his maker." I'm going to read that again. "Whoso mocketh the poor, reproacheth his maker." And he that is glad at calamity shall not be unpunished. Amen. So showing you this is not nothing to make light of or make fun of anyone. Right? From there, let's go to, I'm going to go in the Apocrypha now. In the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach. And we're going to go to chapter 13. Right? Ooh. Chapter 13. And we're going to start at the 15th verse. It reads, every beast loveth his light, and every man loveth his neighbor. All flesh consorteth according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. What fellowship hath the wolf with the lamb? Right? So the sinner with God, with the godly. What agreement is there between the hyena and a dog? There's none, right? And what peace between the rich and the poor? Showing you they don't respect, the rich don't respect the poor. Right? 19th verse. As the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. And that's what the wealthy, the rich do. That's the oligarchs in a 1%. 20th verse. As the proud hate humility, so do the rich abhor the poor. Meaning they hate the poor. Right? They can't relate to one another. Right? 21st verse. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends. Right? That's what the rich do. They support each other when they're in trouble. Right? But check this out. It says, but a poor man being down is thrust also away by his friends. So that's what poor people, they tear each other down. Right? 22nd verse. When a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. Like they do Trump, for example. Right? The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He speak wisely, you know, like an Israelite speaks wisely, like myself. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He speak wisely, and could have no place, no help. When a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his house, holdeth his tongue. And look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds. But if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help. And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. Showing you how the rich hate the poor. Riches are good unto him that have no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. The heart of a man changeth his countenance, whether it be for good or evil, and a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance. A cheerful countenance is a token of a heart that is in prosperity, and the finding out of parables is a wearisome labor of the mind. That's going into something else. But I was supposed to have stopped at the 24th verse. Yeah, I was supposed to stop at the 24th verse. because the other precept going to another thought or topic, right? So from there, let's go to second Esdras. Well, we're going to get to it. I'm trying to pace myself, right? Because I like I said, certain things I want to mention. Second Esdras. We're going to go to second Esdras. And 15th chapter. We're going to read a little bit from there. But we're going to start at the 12th verse. Right? Because I said we're going to go into the history of kingdoms. But we're going to, I guess you could say this to beginning. Let's start at 12th verse. It reads, 2nd Esdras 15 and 12 read, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten, with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn for their seeds, and shall fail slack it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Right? I'm going to pause there for a second, because it says woe. Woe means destruction to the world and them that dwell therein. Now, and this here in particular is talking about the blasting. They that till the ground mourning for their seed shall fell through the blasting and hell. That's happening. That's going to happen. But it's going to, not only that, what the oligarchs are doing, they're adding fuel to the fire with their own thoughts and ideas from Shaitan. Because, for example, they're drying up lakes. They're taking in lakes and they're using it as excuse as, oh, the data systems need cooling, allegedly. Some are saying there's another information out there that's saying that the data system is maybe the people are the oligarchs are drying out rivers and waters in Babylon, America, which they are doing. Another thought was they taking the water out. There's really not no data system or data system. So two thoughts are out there with that. So they taking up the natural resources and drying up rivers and lakes. Why? To sell it back to you. One guy mentioned they got actually a ticket on a stock called USWR, which is insane. But it's showing you this is all part of the beast system. When you hear data systems, that's what they're about. They are surveillance systems. But it's all part of the beast system. Okay? But showing you the mindset of the oligarchs, which are the wealthy. The Edomite oligarchs, the wicked, like it mentions in Job 9:24, the wicked. Okay? So y'all know how that reads. Job 9:24. Right? So, what it say in the 14th verse? It says, woe to the world, meaning destruction to the world, and them that dwell therein. Because it's going to get so bad. Matter of fact, speaking of water, y'all need to check out a movie called The Road. Because in that movie was a water shortage. The movie's called The Road. I need to check that out. That's why I read in the 14th verse, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. 15th verse, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another people. Slack, let me read that again. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another people, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. Sedition is separation. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings, nor their princes, meaning their leaders, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. 17th verse. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their and rob their goods. Spoil means rob too, and rob their goods because of the lack of bread, and for great tribulation. 20th verse. Behold, saith Yahweh, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libnus, to turn themselves one against another, and repay the things that they have done to them, like as they do this day unto my chosen. So will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith Yahweh. 22nd verse. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. Right? So the Most High is going to defend the remnant and the chosen of Yashar'Allah, the children of Yashar'Allah, and especially the remnant of Yashar'Allah. Because these oligarchs consorted these nations, and the oligarchs of these nations consorted this evil, drying up rivers and all that, and causing this destruction with their own thoughts and ideologies, like, for instance, smart cities. And I think that's what's behind all the fires that's out in Canada, Ontario, Canada. How are you going to have 100 wildfires all at once? The Bible in the book of Revelations does speak of, which they done in the past in the state of Hawaii, caused fires with laser technology from a helicopter. They're the dragon that said fire came down from heaven. It's talking about their laser technology they use from helicopters, right? Yeah, they caused them fires over there, and that's left smokes and haze in New York from Canada. It came from Canada. I seen the smog outside when I was out there. And the Bible says what? He's going to destroy them that destroy the earth. Because that ideology, they got smart cities. That's what that's about. Make no mistake about it. They did that in Jamaica with a hurricane. That's the wicked for you. And that's talking about the oligarchs. Right? So you're no mystery, damn it. The Bible says what's in dark shall be brought to light. So, yeah, we figured you out. You still up your old taxes. Because remember, they got what? Agenda 2030. Remember that? Yeah. You're paying very much attention. From there, let's go to the book of Psalms real quick. Let's go to the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, right? You gotta know where I'm going. Those that know, you know. Psalms 73. Right? We're gonna start, of course, at the very first verse. We're gonna read. It says, truly Yahweh is good to Yashar'Allah, even to such as are of clean heart, meaning mine. But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no for there are no bands in their depth, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. So it's talking about who? That 1%, the oligarchs. 6th verse. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. Yeah, they full of pride. Violence covered them as a garment. 7th verse. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. And when it says violence covered them as a garment, meaning they funded every last war on both sides. That's talking about who? The 1%, the oligarchs of the wicked, mentioned in Job 9:24. 7th verse. Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They're wealthy. Not rich, wealthy. That's a step above. They have generational wealth, as they call it. They are corrupt and speak wickedness. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They speak corrupt and wickedly concerning oppression, meaning against the poor. 9th verse. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth, meaning they pass policy. Right? Controlling kingdoms, especially the kingdoms of the wicked. They influence kingdom through their policy. Right? 10th verse. Therefore, his people return hither, and waters of a full cup are wrung out to them. And they say, how doth Yahweh know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? This is what the wicked say. 12th verse. Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. So King David specifically seen these times and even the times of his, but especially these times. Job 9:24. That's what he's referring to. 13th verse reads, Verily, I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency. For all the day long have I been plagued and chastened every morning. If I say, I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. 16th verse. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me. Until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh, then understood I their end. So the Most High had to show King David what was their end going to be. Of who? The wicked, the oligarchs, the wealthy of the nations, and particularly of Esau, because he's seen these times. So 18th verse reads, Psalm 73 verse 18, Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation, as in a moment they are utterly consumed with terrors. 20th verse, As a dream when one awaketh, so, O Yahweh, or so, O Adawan, when thou awakest, thou shalt despise their image. And that day is coming. There's seconds away on this kingdom called Babylon America, or North America, right? Yeah. Because what? The scriptures say, let's get that. Proverbs. Let's go to real quick. Proverbs. I think that's in, I think I passed it. Let's go to Proverbs. It's one of my favorite ones too. I always quote that a lot, especially when I was a kid. It's in Proverbs 11:4 reads, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. And that's what's going to deliver us, man. That's what's going to deliver the poor man. Keeping what? The laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Doing the will of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Right? This is when a poor man going to win. Because he ain't going to forever be poor. Right? Matter of fact, that goes to what? Let's get second H.I.S. I think it's the 6th chapter. And let's read the one in the 9th verse. What reads what? For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the hail and the hand. Other question, Esdras, ask thou not. But I read 10th verse. I'm going to read 9 again. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right. So Esau's world is coming to an end. Now who's the next to follow it? Jacob's world, the remnant of Yasha'Allah, as it mentioned in the New Testament. The remnant. Not all Yasha'Allah gonna come. Only a remnant. How about that? Right? Got to continue in the faith, man. Remember your calling. Remember your office. All right? And if your office expanded, just do the work, man. Just labor. Continue in the faith. Hamashiach Yahweh Shah. From there, we're going to go to Job. Yeah, we got to go into finish talking about the wicked. Job 20th. Notorious Job. That's what I call it. Because Job is a deep book, bro. Book of Job is no joke. Job 20th chapter. And we're going to start at 5th verse. That Job 20:5 reads that the triumphant of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. Let's read. It says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. Yeah, that's that pride. 7th verse, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Yeah, and that day is soon coming. 8th verse, he shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. Right. Matter of fact, that day is coming too. This is a countdown on Babylon. The sand in the hourglass is soon about to run out. And mind you, 2026 is 250th year of Babylon, America. Those who know, know. Let's read the 15th verse. He hath swallowed down, Job 20, verse 15. He hath swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. Yahweh shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asps, the viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down according to his substance. Shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. Because he have oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he have violently taken away an house which he builded not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his gods, for his goods. 22nd verse. In the fullness of his sufficiency he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. 23rd verse. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. All right. And who is talking about? Job 9:24. Right? From there, I'm going to go. Let's read Job 9:24 for edification. Right? While I'm in the book of Job, right? It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? So, meaning the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. That's when he came into the oligarchs. That's when they came back into power. And he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Who he covered? He took our identity. The judges of Yeshua. He covered up the faces. He whitewashed the images. You know, like it says in Second Maccabees 3:48. He put his image up as the people of the Most High, as the chosen people. All in his media, magazines, books, even some of the architect in the Middle Ages. As a Prince Philip nose is cut off, like they did in the other nations, dark nations. He hated all dark nations, but when it came to us, he made sure to try to destroy our image. And then took our identity. He's an identity thief. But you can never be us. Too bad, wicked one. You're the one the Most High rejected. But with that being said, let's go into some history of the kingdoms. All right, and I'm going to start with Isaiah. And yes, we're going to be reading whole chapters this time. Yeah, Isaiah, particularly, we're going to go into Isaiah. Well, two of them I could say, not all of them, but two of them. Isaiah. Let's go to the book of Isaiah 47. Everybody should be familiar with this chapter. If not, get to reading and just follow along, right? All you first timers on this channel, right? We're going to go on a little history of the kingdoms and the similarities. But we're going to start with Isaiah 47. It reads, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Why? It's showing you something's going to happen to this particular ruling kingdom. The daughter of Babylon is America, right? Because it emulates the ancient original Babylonian kingdom. That's why it's called daughter of Babylon. It says, and it calls it a woman. It said, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, meaning brought to a lower state. Dust represents confusion. Because that's the state of the economy, and that's the state of America in general. Morally, civilly, it's in a whole bunch of damn confusion. And you know what I mean morally. You got sodomy, transformers out here, you got whoremongering. So morally, civilly, it's in confusion, man. And in chaos. Right? Second verse. Take the millstone and grind mill, uncover the locks. Uncover thy locks. Let me read that again. Take the millstone and grind mill, meaning labor. It says, uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg, uncover thy thigh, pass over the rivers. You meaning you about to be exposed. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, the shame shall be seen. Thy shame shall be seen. And that's what's happening. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. I mean, he's going to bring serious destruction to Babylon. Serious judgment. Fourth verse. As for our Redeemer, the outer one of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Yashar'Allah. Fifth verse. That's what's going to bring the judgment. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms, meaning a ruling kingdom. Sixth verse, it says what? I was wroth, I was angry, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted my inheritance and given them into thy hand. Slavery. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancients hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. Who's the ancient? The people Yashar'Allah. Who we belong to? The Ancient of Days, Yahweh. It's talking about children Yashar'Allah. Upon the ancient hast thou verily laid thy yoke. Seventh verse. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, meaning thy mind, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Let's read the 9th verse. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. So that's what's done in Babylon. A lot of sorcery and a lot of enchantment. 10th verse, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, and thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it have perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. 11th verse, therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, and though thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thy enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. 13th verse. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologer, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things shall come upon thee. Save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. 14th verse. Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire sit before it. 15th verse. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter. None shall save thee. Amen. So that's the fate of Babylon, America, man. And that's all the evil that's done in Babylon, America. From there, let's go to Ezekiel. Right? Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 28 chapter. And this is a kingdom, not too many people out here mention, not saying it's not being taught, but I rarely hear this one. But we're going to go into it. And we're going to read not all of it, but a few verses, good amount of verses from there too. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, the 28th chapter. And we want to read some precepts from there. Right? We're going to start at, of course, the first verse. It reads, the word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith Yahweh, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, a power. I sit in the seat of Yahweh, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man, and not Yahweh, though thou set thy heart as the heart of Yahweh. Now, Tyrus. What is Tyrus today? That would be the country of Lebanon. That's Tyrus today. Tyrus is also, Tyre is mentioned in Joel. So that would be Lebanon, right? At one time, there was a ruling kingdom in the east, right? A mighty kingdom. But let's see what the Most High had to say about them. And this particular king of Lebanon, because he's called prince and a king in Lebanon. So he was elevated to, when you read later on, to a king, a ruler. A king is a leader of Lebanon. But he had, let's read about him, because he's similar to what? Babylon. Let's read. 3rd verse. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, out of 1, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of Yahweh. He was puffed up. Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. 9th verse. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am Yahweh? But thou shalt be a man, and no power, in the hand of him that slayeth thee. 10th verse. Thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith out of 1 Yahweh. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith Yahweh, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of Yahweh. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and the gold. Carbuncle and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. 14th verse. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of Yahweh. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of the fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of Yahweh. I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thy iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee, it shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. 19th verse. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee. Thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. Amen. So I wanted to read that to show you how the Most High bring down kingdoms, man, when they get too puffed up with wealth and riches. And they traffic, and you read the traffic of Tyrus with the traffic on the seas of merchants, similar to modern day Babylon, which is America. Right? So one caveat I want to leave, I want to read Zechariah 7 and 9. Zechariah 7 and 9. The light almost went out slacking. I think my lamp got a shortage or something. Got to look into that. We're going to go to Zechariah. Zechariah. You already got it, so let me get it. Zechariah 7, chapter, verse 9. It reads, now let's talk about H.I.S. And anyway, let's go to Zechariah 7 and 9. It reads, thus speaketh Yahweh out of one of hosts, saying, execute true judgment, and show mercy and compassion every man to his brother. And oppress not the widow, nor the fatherless, the stranger, nor the poor, and let none of you imagine evil against his brother in your heart. But they refused to hearken, and pulled away the shoulder, and stopped their ears, that they should not hear. Right, and this is Zechariah addressing Yashar'Allah, and particularly those that, give me a minute, those that have resources too in Yashar'Allah. Let me get, because give me a minute. I want to go to the New Testament too. James, it's 5 and 1. Yeah. I'm going to start with 5 and 1. James 5 and 1 read, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Second verse, your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of Adonai Sabbath. Fifth verse, ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of either one. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until he receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, minds, for the coming of either one draweth nigh. Right? So the Most High addressed the wealthy of our people, because they do exist. I give you an example of that at the end of this video. You should find it, or somewhere in the comment section. Either way, just look for it. All right? With that, I'm going to say shalom. That's the end of my lesson. And repent, Yasha'Allah. Joy nigh to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Repent, for riches should not save you, but righteousness should save you, as it says in Proverbs 11:4. With that, I'm going to say shalom. So here's a few back business. Robert F. Smith family donated to Morehouse College. In 2019, they donated $40 million to 400 students, paid off their tuition. This is Rhonda Stryker and William Johnston Stryker. These are a couple billionaires. Yes, there's other couple billionaires other than the damn Beyonce and Jay-Z, you dummies. Anyway, they donated to Spelman. Rhonda Stryker donated to Spelman. You notice how she kept her last name, right? Yeah, that's what happened, because they know marriage is a business. Anyway, enjoy.